Hello and welcome back to the DPC panel. We have the second match between Balrogs and Thunder Awaken ready. My panelists are ready as well. Thank you for that adjustment there, Winter. In this game number 2, we talked last game that you guys both prefer the draft with Thunder Awaken, either for ease of execution in general because that just looked better. What changes would you like to see, Lelis, in this drafting for Balrogs?
I like them not to pick Coddle and try something else.
Okay. Why didn't you like the Coddle?
I honestly think that hero is not that easy as people think. People think it's just mega straightforward that just press mana on someone, but I don't know. These supports that don't really his slow is good, but it gets good later, right? Early game, the hero doesn't really have any spells. He just farms, and sometimes that hurts a lot, especially on teams that are not that good and that they don't exactly know how to place their heroes on the map. It can be a little bit rough.
Yeah, knowing how to abuse the recall, I think it's not that easy. Like the recall part is like the way your team has to be playing the map is kind of like having an IO on your team, and not every team is very good at that.
So you think, Winter, that's not so much the player playing the Coddle, but the team playing around the Coddle, right?
Yeah, it's very important. Like for example, because I played with some players that had the before it was on, obviously it was on Coddle before it was on another hero, but when they have the recall, it was on Chen. Yeah, when they have the recall, they don't really remind your team, hey guys, I have a recall, go do this. Sometimes it comes from the player, the hero player, or your teammates. Some carry players, they are more aware about how to use their teammates very well. They are aware they have this relocate, they have this recall, so they know how to abuse it more than some other players. It's definitely a team thing.
It's a very cool take. Thank you for sharing that with us, Winter. Let's look at the draft right now. Thunder Awaken, they go with a Tiny Snapfire. Tiny has been a flex pick for Thunder Awaken because everyone knows how Dark Malo likes to play, but Bakaz also plays it, and even Sacred actually can play it in the offlane. So can Matthew in the 4 position, so a massive flex for them. Pretty strong start, would you say, here again, Lelis, for Thunder Awaken? More normal this time?
Yeah, do you know if they flex Snap? Where do they play this hero? I know that Matthew plays it.
I know Matthew plays it, yes. I've never seen Panda play it, if I'm honest with you. I think it's only a 4 for them.
He's kind of like really good on mid lane right now, in my opinion, that hero.
Yeah, but that Kamago definitely does not play Snapfire. That takes like years for that Kamago to learn a new hero. It's far too behind.
Are you actually joking or you are serious?
Well, I mean, the joke with that Kamago... Yeah, the joke with that Kamago is that he has a pool of heroes like 5 or 6, right? And he just spams those a lot. I'm sure you've played against him in pubs, right? Isn't he like playing like 12 pubs a day, same guy, same hero, 12 games a day? It's kind of...
Same hero, 12 games a day?
No, he doesn't play... He plays like 10 heroes. He doesn't really play anything else. He doesn't play like these random... He doesn't like play Pango or some random mid hero. Like, he won't play Disruptor mid or something and won't flex anything. He's just gonna pick me Kunkka every game. And he's just gonna play Kunkka.
Yeah, in the Addy Major, I remember talking to them because Dark Mao got put on like timeout by his teammates because he had stayed up all night playing, and he had played a total of in 2 days 24 games of Batrider straight.
What?
Just only Batrider for 24 games. Yeah. And they had to lock him in his room because they needed him fresh for the major, and he was not sleeping very much.
What a monster.
He really is, yeah.
I mean, a guy would spam 24 games of Batrider is the same guy that would play Viper for 30 games, man.
Yes, indeed. Tell me about the Balrogs draft then, Winter. Shadow Demon and Death Prophet. What do you think of this opening?
I mean, I think these 2 heroes, they are definitely really good against the Tiny. I mean, they open with the SD. It's sort of like... Because the previous series, I think Balrogs, they picked... I think if I'm not wrong, they picked Tiny most of their games, right? So they initially value this hero very highly, and I'm not sure if maybe they wanted to give away the hero, so they're just picking. I mean, SD was the first pick, right? So maybe they wanted a support that's really good against Tiny, the Purge, and the Soul Catcher. But DP is overall in general that's good against Tiny because of the Spirit Siphon % damage. And also,
is the Shadow Demon also a cover pick for the DP because it's usually considered a counter?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you guys talked about previously, the saves. I mean, it can be good for a hero like DP. DP usually works very well with that, especially with Oracle. But I think maybe it has something to do with Tiny. Maybe.
Okay. Yogurt Thunder continuing with its normal draft. We know that Panda doesn't play Snapfire, so not really flexing there. And then Balrogs starting out the Clockwork. Position 4 could be. I think SA is the only region that still runs position 4 Clockwork consistently. What is your opinion on this, Les? What happens if you're laning and you get a 4 Clockwork with you?
I mean, you just kind of have to sacrifice the lane, because the hero doesn't really contribute to anything in lane. You just pull waves, and then hopefully you pray for the 5, just be on the side, and you just kill him. But in high MMR, in competitive, people are not going to do that. So it's kind of like a lost lane. I like the Clockwork hero after the lane, though. I think this hero is really good. I think his talents are really broken. The leash and the hits for the cog. Because now with the shard, what you can do is you can hook shot in, you can cog, and you can jetpack out. And then some heroes just don't have attack speed, right? Tiny. So he's just going to be stuck in cogs. Even if he BKBs, he's just stuck. So I think the hero's pretty interesting. I think he's really good after the lane. You just have to make a way for him to work in the lane. One of the best combos is like Darkseer. But it looks like they're just going to put the DP with the clock. Like a classic ranged offlaner with melee 4. And just try to play the lane. It's not that bad of a lane. They're not going to win the lane, but they might draw it.
What do you think of the farm priority that gives him? Like, is it good for Clock to get some items? Because you mentioned the shard, but I don't really see him as an independent hero.
Clock doesn't really farm. What he farms is he just rockets waves, and then he gets kills, right? That's usually how the hero gets items.
He kind of needs to snowball. Like, he needs a very good start. For me, when I play Clockwork as pos 4, if I didn't have a good start in the lane, I don't feel like I can do a lot in the game. That's my take on it. I feel like when I play Clockwork pos 4, I want like an offlaner that can go really well with me in the lane, so I have a good game.
Yeah, the first like hook shots are really important. If you miss like 1 or 2, then your game is also just over. You need to hit the first ones to actually snowball. It's true.
Okay. We'll see if Balrogs can manage it. It has been their style the whole time, right? It's very run at you kind of style. So I think if there's a team that is comfortable with this. Thunder Predator, they pick up the Storm Spirit for Dark Mago. Definitely not a hero we see commonly for this team, but definitely within his pool of heroes.
24 games of Storm Spirit a day?
Less so. He stopped playing Storm Spirit when he got on Omega. When he got on Omega, they asked him to concentrate on 3 or 4 heroes, and those were Tiny, Konka, TA, and Invoker. I think it was. Oh, Tinker was his secret pick, right? And then he stopped playing the Spirit heroes as much, but he's been getting slowly back on the grind with the Ember, Void Spirit, and Storm. I mean, traditional mid laner, right? You kind of have to play these heroes at some point.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it's definitely good against the SD and Clockwork this game. Those 2 supports are not very good at dealing with Storm.
Do they have enough stuns to deal with Storm at all? Isn't it kind of a free Storm game here?
Yeah, not very good stuns. Not very good stuns.
Yeah, it's a pretty free Storm game. They barely have any stuns. Like the DB Silence, Clockwork, Hookshot, not really. They have like the hook shot into cogs into Torrent, but it's pretty hard.
Yeah, just by hex. Just by hex.
Just buy a hex on cogs. It's that simple.
Is the Terrorblade gonna help this out? It just feels like you're completely at the mercy of the Storm now.
Yeah, they probably think that Terrorblade is gonna match up against Tiny, which it is. It is a good matchup. But let's see if they actually put this Tiny carry now. Because I guess they can flex it, right? They can just put it off lane and then just pick a carry. Or they can just pick... They could just pick Darkseer here. Pretty good pick. Even...
Yeah, I think Darkseer is pretty solid for them. It's good against the TV.
If you were to think of carries, obviously, aside from the Darkseer potential, what carries would you pick up here against the TV?
I mean, they already banned out most of the good ones.
Yeah, honestly, Morphling or PL.
PL.
Banned. I mean, they can pick Dusa. Dusa's banned too, never mind.
No Dusa, no Dusa, no Luna.
CK also banned.
CK is the OP one. Oh, yeah, CK is banned.
Bowie.
Oh.
Yeah, don't really like
What are your
Bowie
thoughts on
against TV in general. Because there's a SD also.
I mean, Void is... People say that SD is good against Void because it has a save, but Void is pretty good against SD because of Dilation. It's really annoying for SD to play. It gets dilated, like, it's really annoying. Void is a good matchup versus TV. Like, you just chrono him, kill him so he can't stunder, and they have the damage with the Snapfire. But it can also just be two-sided. Like, you can just chrono someone, then the guy just gets saved, and it's just over. They did pick this Void hero in the past a lot. I remember they lost, like, the regionals with Void. They picked Void into Ursa. And they just thought, like, the Void was OP or something. And then
Void
stopped
into
picking
Ursa.
after they lost.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
they picked it into Ursa, and then they lost and they stopped picking it. So it's back.
Because it was one of the old Pakas heroes as well. Like when he was starting like to come up, Void was like his stellar hero that he used to be well known for. We'll see. Are you guys confident in the Void pick here? Is Thunder Awaken gonna be able to do it? Do you like their draft more, Lelis?
Yeah, I like the draft. I think they have everything. I think this is a pretty free storm game, honestly. Like we talked about the Void and stuff. Like maybe it's not that good of a Void game, but they do have free game for Storm, and they have chrono damage. So I don't think Void has to 1v5 or anything.
Winter, what are your thoughts?
I feel like the TB matchup against the Tiny could also be. Sorry, against the Void could be a deciding factor. Even though they don't have a good catch for the Storm Spirit, but I think later in the game, if they can stabilize the mid game, they don't lose so quickly. They can still get items to deal with the Storm, and the TB will eventually outcarry them.
Okay, is that you going with Balrogs for this game too, Winter?
Yeah, that's correct, Mr. Albro.
Thank you so much for that. Panel divided this time. Who's going to be right? We're going to have to see in the postgame as we go over to game number 2 between Balrogs and Thunder Awaken with your casters level plus and Dota 2 Bowie. Thank you, Avo and Small Bowie. And welcome again to this cast. Let's go into the game. But as we go into the game, Bowie, I want you to tell me what your opinions are on the drafts and if there's any draft that you favor as we go into the game.
I actually favor Thunder Predator quite a bit here. I think if it was Balrogs playing that draft, I would probably favor Thunder Predator. But since it's Thunder Predator playing the Void, I actually favor this a lot. I think there are two things that counter DP and Terrorblade, and they're the same. They're either displacement or burst, and they have both here. You have this position 4 Tiny. You have Chrono plus the Snapfire that is a core, so lots of early levels. Oh, mid lane.
What? What are we watching, Romofita? He's being gone on, and that's going to be Romofita dying immediately. Well, something we didn't mention towards the end. We were unsure, and Lelis asked me if Sacred played Snapfire offlane. I was unsure about this. He does, and he's going to be playing the Snapfire offlane with a Tiny as the 4 position instead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's...
And that's why they got the kill here.
He really likes playing it. I think this, like... it's also something that Beast Coast loves doing, you know, the melee or even just straight strength offlaners with... and then you can play these melee guys. I think this is something that Thunder Predator borrows from Beast Coast quite a bit. And it's good. I think it favors this Void pick that he can get from time to time. I don't think the hero is amazing, but I think this is a really good Void game. And not only because of the carry matchup, but because of this core Snapfire. It's so much damage. You're going to have the blink stun. Like, everything that this hero does that is good on Snapfire relies on, like, experience and gold. And playing it offlane just enables this hero quite a bit, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you, actually. Do you think, though, you need to be a really good offlaner to be able to play this hero? Because I see Whisper, right? And all the time they talk about how Snapfire, if they don't win the lane, it's going to look a bit bad, etc., etc. And Whisper always wins his lane, even though his matchup might be bad. Is that a Whisper thing, or do you think that the hero has more to it than we'll give it credit?
I think it's an underrated hero. You know, it's one of those SA flavor things, just like the Mid Tiny. You know, maybe it is. It's not only about the hero being good, but about the other things that this region likes, which is teamfight. And I think Snapfire brings a lot of it. But I feel like this hero can come back from games because, like, all he needs is experience. You don't really need Blink Dagger to play for 4. I feel like actually brings a lot to the table. You get Roche, right, with the Little Shredder. Pretty versatile.
I like that. I mean, I'm always happy to give some love to the SA flavor picks, right? I think this is maybe the only region I've seen that doesn't have like great international results, and they still don't care about the opponents are picking everywhere else, right? They don't copy. They still stick to their style no matter what.
Yeah.
Even if they lose, which I think is impressive and sad at the same time.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's definitely a little bit of, you know, European and Chinese Dota that SA could maybe borrow a little bit more. But oh, sexy. That was kind of a weird position that Crypt was, so he didn't really got the cookie off.
Yep.
But I think you need to like trust your own gut, right? It can't just be copying everyone and expect to have similar results. I like that we still try to stick with stuff that worked for us.
I think it's a healthier, like they're starting to reach a healthy balance because you do have some teams now, like Lava, for example, was coming to us in an interview, and they do watch a lot of Chinese Dota and they watch a lot of Western European Dota to like see what they're doing, right? And we're starting to see a lot more of that in SA. I know Papita does it from Infinity as well, right? But I don't want to go full NA where if you talk to NA pros, they will literally tell you sometimes they don't even watch their own region, and it's pointless. Because why copy their own region? Why copy their own pubs when they can just copy China and EU instead, right? At least the top teams say that, mind you.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about finding that good balance. Obviously, maybe if you're playing international Dota, you might be forced into different stuff. But if you're playing SA, there's definitely a lot of room for experimentation.
Sure. Keep that experimentation for the major. I mean, dude, you know, Thunder Awaken brought the Viper 5 into any major, right?
That is true. That is true.
You know.
The biggest SA contribution to meta, I think.
Yeah, actually, which is the most disgusting one as well. And somehow Panda's signature hero. Oh my god. I mean, the Tiny was also a big one as well that SA brought, thanks to like Mao as well. I agree. I think that balance is starting to be reached right now, and it also gives a lot more flavor. As a viewer, I like it more, right? Because I like to see teams being more experimental.
I remember the sketchiness. I think like in that major specifically, I think HFN was still playing that no ping.
Yes, he was.
Everyone's like, there's no way this Viper is good, like the international casters actually in SA. And then it started working, and then it actually got to the majors and started working, and like even the big teams were doing. It was awesome. Oh, mid though.
Mid, Roboceta could be in trouble. Matthew, and he still could have body block, but he chose to just kind of tank the tower instead. Dark Malo doesn't have enough damage. Kunkka is a very tanky hero. So even though that rotation was pretty good, unfortunately you don't have enough damage for him.
Look at the wards though. They have like Balrogs, they're super scared of his rotation, and still he got it off anyways.
Yeah, Balrogs though. They have fun, Matthew. Another tanky hero, but much more killable because he is just a support. 3 stacks of Shadow Poison, only level 1, however. Matthew avoiding the 4th stack, well done. Wanting to steal the Water Rune, knows that X marks the spot will bring him back. That's 5 stacks of Shadow Poison gonna hit him. No, sorry, only 4 for now. They hit him with a Typebringer, and that's gonna be Sexy Yogi finishing him off. At least the kill gets given to Sexy Yogi and not the enemy mid laner Roboceta, but not ideal anyway.
Yeah, he also wasted himself, but he needed to get close for the X. But it's fine, you know, he does get the rune at least, so he can still scale in terms of levels. He's pretty close to Dark Mago. Matthew again mid. I think he's gonna smoke. Is he gonna smoke again?
Oh, what are we watching? Dark Mago over Roboceta. I don't think that's gonna work out. Or maybe Roboceta going quite low. The Cog actually pushed Dark Mago forward, but unfortunately the bottom's keeping Roboceta alive, and they send him back near the Cogs. He gets hit with 3 different Cogs. Dark Mago will die. This rotation from ZXCA, impressive.
Okay. Oh, that was so close, man. I'm actually floored that they even attempted that. So now, you're gonna ask me at the end of this game, did Thunder Awaken throw a little bit, allowing Balrogs to get a good early game? And I mean, I think that plays a little bit sketchy, but you know, I think considering the amount of resources they spent trying to cancel Robo-Z, he's doing really well bottom.
Yeah, Panda just died there. Quick, not that important. And also, Bowie, the name of the section is Throw or Pro, my friend. Not okay. It took me days to come up with that rhyme. It's not that easy. Okay. Fakaz just dies. I cannot believe what I just witnessed.
Pro or pro?
That was throw. That was 100% throw. Berna in the top lane at least gets gone on. Matthew. Berna still has the illusion. That's going to body block Matthew versus Slightly Sacred. No more Cookie, no more Scatterblast. Unable to kill off this Terror play. The mid Sexy Yogi could be a target. Scatterblast available in a second. Infused Raindrop saving Sexy Yogi. Do they have Avalanche? They do not. No mana. Matthew tanking the tower. And the punch will work. And Matthew says, why not? Let's go for TP as well. He gets hit by the Cookie. Gets hit by the Avalanche. And that's going to guarantee a double kill going the way of Thunder Awaken.
Oof. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, I don't know. Pakaz dying to the Crypt Storm kind of equalized that whole thing because he just walked near the TP and gets hit by a Crypt Storm and dies. So, that great play by Sacred doesn't mean as much.
It's pretty even overall. Lots of dives and, you know, just a standard SA game. But one thing that really is kind of throwing me off here is that the Storm... I feel like this Storm's gonna have a free game. Like when you look at the ways they have to kill heroes inside of Balrogs, besides the Silence of the Death Prophet, they have very little control. Like, you don't care about cogs, you don't care about X. I wonder if this is a game where Robo see if he gets a good early game, he can go Orchid, because that might be the way to actually deal with Dark Mago, because he's already killing your support stop.
Yeah. In the bottom lane, though, we are seeing much more aggression against Panda moves. Once again, stuck. The Clogs get him, and they kill him. And King Tekka did activate the exorcism to hopefully take this tower. With the rotation from Roboceta, Matthew will not be able to do the same. King Tekka, is he just gonna take the tier 1 like that? Yeah, Exo still has a long way to go. And thanks to the catapult, the tower will fall. Matthew commits suicide against Berna, and being too close to the enemy team.
You want to fight though, because Pakaz is just like hanging here. Storm is running bottom. I feel like they might try to kill Quinteca now that the exorcism is over. Okay.
Yeah, and that's what they're gonna do, Bowie. They use the Chrono. Inside the Chrono goes the Storm. Nobody made one play there. It's King Tekka regains his mana. Dark Mago, kind of low on mana, has one more jump. When is he gonna use it? Robotita's coming in. There's the jump. Dark Mago's dead. Okay. All right, Bowie, throw or pro. What do you think of that one?
Oh my!
What's
look,
happening?
I praised the Void pick because I thought they were gonna play around the Snapfire way more. Sacred has TP the whole time. He has his ulti, and he never showed up. And also, like, Storm actually waited for the Chrono to jump in, and he still landed inside the Chrono, so he was not attacking during most of the Chrono. Well, there you go. Okay.
Okay, Flock at least dies, and then Mortimer's Kisses will kill the 2 supports once again. And, well, as that Bloodlust for extra movement speed wants to reach 60 Yogi, but instead he's gonna wait out for the Fire Blast. 60 Yogi playing with Vision. Panda, are you going a bit too far? No, he's not. In fact, the Storm is caught at someone else. It's gonna be the Kunkka. As Panda continues his onslaught, he hits the Ignite. 60 Yogi's dead. Roboceta gets the X marks the spot, and then you pull up ahead. Panda is still being chased by King Tekka, but it's not gonna work this time.
Alright, it's 15 kills in 8 minutes. Pretty much the golden standard for SA. Terrorblade middle.
Yeah, Terribly. Yeah, that's a tip for sure, Matthew, because he was just kind of solo farming mid, expecting nobody's gonna TP to get him. And of course, Storm exists in this game. Just because he cancelled himself by going into the Chrono does not mean that he will do it again.
Wow.
What is this game, Bowie? What are we watching?
It's so crazy. I mean, I still feel like this is Balrog's advantage because they were able to get that tower. They will have the catapult in the mid lane. They do have some semblance of control here, so they can go from the high ground of the big jungle into this mid tower. Exo is up. This is a big timing for them. If they can actually execute and get the tier 1 middle, even if those deaths, I still feel like this Terrorblade, like, the Void is having a terrible game. He has no farm, and he farms much slower than the Terrorblade ever will.
Good point. That's by the way we're seeing Panda being besieged in the mid lane. There's the first hook shot used by ZXCA. They guarantee the kill against Panda, and with the Exo they can take the tier with 1 mid, which puts Void in an even more precarious position because you talked about how slow he farms. Imagine if he has less map control than the TB.
Oh yeah, they will have Chrono and Kisses very soon though, so that's where they have to be careful. Look at where Sexyogi is. He understands that he has to save Quinteca once the Chrono and the Kisses come. Let's see if he'll be able to do it. Or is dead though. I don't think it matters.
Yeah, Tower is dead.
Oh god.
Chrono. Oh, okay. Mortimer's Kisses for the support for now, and maybe Robotita as well. Fire Blast stops him. 1 kiss misses. It's okay. As the Storm comes in, a little bit more magic damage in. Robotita will finally fall. ZXCA also in a similar position. He's gonna die. Pakaz gets the time walk last second. Allows himself to survive the Spirit Siphon, and that guarantees as well the King on King Tekka. Which means Balrogs get almost wiped. Only Terrorblade survives, who at least took this time to farm. But you're right, the tower already fell, and Thunder cannot turn this into an objective either, because they lack the push to do so.
Yeah, it was nicely played by Thunder Awaken. They actually they don't show the Chrono first, so the SD feels forced to show. And then he actually in the Chrono instead of being outside. That was, I really like the targeting that they went for. Still, Tower falls, Terrorblade's farming. And you know, if we compare Game 1 with Game 2, this is a game where the laning stage was much even towards Balrog. So if they were able to do that much with terrible early game, I'm still very confident that Balrogs can, you know, make this a Game 3. I'm saying they will. I'm saying, you know, a chance that is higher than 0 exists.
Right, from bold percentages of 60-40 to higher than 0. Thank you, Bowie. I see your
I
confidence
never
here.
said any percentage, by the way. I'm not in panel. That's my panel
No.
thing.
Ah, it's true. Sorry, panel Bowie is different
Yeah.
than caster Bowie. That's my bad.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's why I
agree
have
with
different
you.
rates.
Balrogs, don't say that. Balrogs, they do have a chance to totally take this game, but with how the game has been going, if I'm honest with you, I would say that it's whoever stops throwing first, because both teams are making like really odd plays on both sides, and you just kind of need someone to be the voice of reason and go, guys, why are we diving face first into this cement pool? Let's stop doing that.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I think it comes mostly from, both drafts from the Predator. They have awful push, right? So they are forced to go for kills most of the time because you're not going to be able to take towers. And, this is the type of thing I'm not sure would work if you were playing a major. But
Okay.
it makes for very entertaining Dota, and
True.
it's still like, I feel like Thunder Awaken is the better team. It's just the way their draft is. Like that Void is not gonna show up top and hit the tower because it's not really what his hero does.
That's a good point about the Major. I do wonder if play like this eventually untrains them, and then they
Yeah.
struggle to get back into the groove. As by the way, I think Matthew just killed off Panda. Yes, he did, and Matthew just killed off himself, setting up with a toss for Clockwork to hookshot and kill 2 heroes. Clockwork does die finally, but Matthew probably regretting his actions. Where's the tip from Balrogs? No tip coming in. They're afraid of getting sanctioned as well. Sexy Yogi, he's going to be caught out with that Electric Vortex, Static Remnant as well. So the 2 supports will die, it seems like. Sexy Yogi has nowhere to run. And despite them having Chrono, they don't really think it's apt to fight. They just use the Mortimer's Kisses. No more damage inside that Chrono.
I love the bait there from Balrogs because they know there's Chrono, and the DP was still like hovering around the fight because they have Bolt on RoboZ. So they're like, yeah, let's try and bait this Chronosphere, and we know they're not gonna die if I pop the Ghost Ship. It was a good try, but Thunder Awaken, they don't fall for it. They keep on farming the Void, but you can already see this Terror Blade just catapulting in net worth. Even with this Maelstrom, the Terror Blade would just scale much faster. I feel like this is a good BKB game for Berna after this. Okay, mid. But Dark Mago doesn't find anyone. Oh, Silence is there. Oh no!
Tower is under attack.
Oh no, the silence
good
got
kill.
missed. Yes, indeed. That was a difficult silence to hit, though. To be fair, you got to be really on point with the X mark the spot. And if there's one thing we haven't really seen this game is coordination. So I think it's fair to say that silence was not going to hit.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Look,
Yeah,
man,
it was
I usually
Avo that
don't
said
say
it,
these
not-
things in a cast. It's just that what are we watching today? I mean, you compare this to game 1 as well. Like, what happened to both teams?
Yeah, it's been high octane. I guess that's the PC word for what we're watching. Smoke Gang from their Predator. No blink on Tiny, but I think they're relying on this toss to either get the Snapfire or the Ogre close. Oh,
Okay, toss.
you go toss.
Back to TP. This time they tossed him a bit safely, and Berna gets the Sunder off. Sacred's gonna die to this, because the Ghost Ship hits, the rest of the team retreats, they find the support, they have to settle for Sexy Yogi, but they don't want to continue fighting this afterward. They have the hook shot, which will cancel Matthew's TP, and Matthew will also die here. Meanwhile, these Pakaz is using this time to farm. Panda has to sacrifice himself so his Storm can live, and it's gonna be 3 in exchange for 1. They lose their offlaner there.
Alright, this is what I'll say. This is not a game Thunder Awaken can make like mistakes like this as they did in game 1. I really feel like this is a game where the matchup advantage of the Void is not gonna matter if he's not getting kills. And
Yep.
like he had Chrono this time. He's been farming 24/7. I guess he's afraid of the silence, so he's going for Manta, but he's still gonna be long ways away. And I don't know, dude. Berna Terrorblade is a beast. Already has the Manta pretty much. This is a
The XCA
much
will
better
die.
game for Balrogs. Oh.
There we are. No, it's okay. It's not that big a deal. It was just a kill on the Clockwork.
Alright, so they will have Shard on Snapfire. That's a good timing. I think the blink on Tiny with the Shard on Snap does allow them to gank a little bit more. That was really awkward because the Tiny has to like Tumbler Stoy into Eva Toss to get the Terrorblade. That's why they couldn't really get a good angle on Berna. But once those two items are up, they become much more scary as a ganking duo.
We'll see if that is gonna be the timing they play on here, as we see a smoke here from Balrogs. What's the objective of this smoke, though? They're just going through the mid lane, like Mago. Okay, the Yols, can they combine this with
He
silence?
has
Yes,
illusion,
they
though.
can. He does the illusion, but the hookshot stops it. The cause on top of that. Dark Mago is capable of making it out, but not before the X brings him back in. One last jump. Rocket Flare did snipe him. And with a demonic purge, is that going to be enough? He tries to TP. Purge is only 250 damage here, and he's able to make out of here alive. Free storm game, we said, and indeed, I think that showed it.
Dude, that illusion rune, they still played really well. I think they saw it. They tried to like get like the silence into the hookshot, but that is a tanky storm.
Is under attack.
Oh, okay, they're gonna go again. There's no illusion rune this time. Let's go.
Okay. Second
Smoke
attempt
on
at the gank.
smoke.
Who will it be, though? It's Matthew who reveals his gank. This way he can't toss anyone back to his teammates. Matthew's gonna be safe with a cookie, and they avoid the ghost, the ghost ship. My mind is being broken by this game. As there goes
Nice
the
save.
Mortimer Skisses. Clockwork is the target, as a storm keeps the backline busy, and that's gonna work out for them. Both supports are dead. DP also joins him in the grave, and Akmago cannot be caught right now. Roboteta frustrated that he couldn't do anything in this team fight because Akmago constantly on his tail. Roboteta now forced to activate the BKB, but he can't TP because the time lock on the void is a bit too scary for him. Roboteta instead has to hang back, trying to give the Berna some space. Berna unfortunately won't be able to make it back far enough. Even the tier 2 it can be found. Berna dies, Roboteta joins him, and that's gonna be a team wipe. And you see, Bowie, the team fight where I started the most is the team fight where Thunder Awaken plays the best inverse success here.
Yeah, it's just really weird. I think that trying to go for another smoke
Tower is under
was
attack.
a sketchy idea. They don't really have any vision. It was just a blind smoke. I don't think they're in a hurry this game. That's the crazy part. They, instead of just like keep farming, leave Terrorblade in their cover of the Shadow Demon, they went for this crazy YOLO smoke, and that was pretty much what the Predator needed. They had all of their timings: the blink on Tiny, the blink on Snapfire. DP doesn't have BKB, gets bursted even with the save of the Shadow Demon. Also, the Kanka never popped his BKB. He went for this early BKB, but he was not the most aggressive hero position, so it doesn't matter that he has BKB. He was just... I really feel like he was supposed to be where DP was, and DP should engage afterwards with the EXO. So, yeah,
Point.
Way too crazy of a formation with the way they spoke.
I think that's a very good point, actually, because the Storm keeps the DP busy, right, behind. Storm might actually die, because Exo's too much damage, and he probably can't kill DP either. But Kunkka, like, that was a really big deal, with the Kunkka not being able to tank as he should.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with his build, right? Like, he went for BKB straight up. Like, you're not really a hero that's doing anything but tanking. If he had Armlet or whatever, at least he would have some damage, but he just has literally tanking ability, that's it.
Exactly. EXCA. Oh, he broke the wrong cog. He's dead.
This does happen sometimes, guys. Don't look into it.
Oh, it was a bait.
Time
He was
dilation.
doing that on purpose.
Oh, he was? Next level play? Oh no, he baited his own team, and his team was like, no, let's not go. We've learned our lesson. Matthew's crazy though. Matthew playing tiny like Dark Mago, and that's gonna be a kill on ZXCA. Mortimer's Kiss is just short of the DP. But don't worry, Storm can jump all over the map. There's no limit to his range, which means King Tekka has been caught. He's been slowed. Do they have any more though? Yolsather avoids the cookie, but Panda's here with a Fire Blast, Avalanche as well, and that's gonna be enough damage to bring down the DP.
Yeah, they're just playing very reactive on the side of Balrogs. They wasted their smokes, right? So they don't have enough smokes to really go for any play. They only have one left on the Shadow Demon. Maybe they're still waiting for a timing. And I'm not sure what it is. Terrorblade trying to decide on the BKB or Skadi. I think it's going to be forced on BKB. I just feel like he dies if he doesn't get the Skadi. If he gets the Skadi, sorry. It's getting out of control.
Is the Scotty gonna be sufficient, or like... Oh, well, as Sexy Yogi dies, by the way. Oh no, Matthew hasn't. There we go. For a second, he didn't have enough attack speed to actually kill him. Is the Scotty gonna be enough, or like, is the Scotty just a survival technique here with the stats, or is he gonna have some offensive potential here against the Void and the Storm?
I mean, Terrorblade can't really man fight. Like Terrorblade just it's terrible against bash heroes or gap close heroes. You don't want to be, if the void is in your face, you don't want to be hitting him. You want distance so that you kite him. I don't think this Skadi, I mean, sure, it is tank ability, but there's way too many stuns where he just dies without defending, in my opinion.
Okay. So it's not enough. It's just like the first step to not get ganked easily, right?
Exactly.
King Tekka. They do have Chrono, but I don't think they want to use it this time. This time King Tekka dying 2 times in the same area, his dead lane. Is he the best hero to push at the dead lane? I would really expect Sexy Yogi to be taking that role, to be honest with you.
I think him or Berna can do a good job because of the illusions, so there's not really much commitment from Berna. He was pushing bottom though. It's just, I guess like the angle that the Void came was away from that ward you see close to the Roach Pit. It felt like it was safe, but it was a bad read. This is going to be a kill and a tier 2.
I think, by the way, let's comment on something that's a little bit high level I've been noticing. I don't know if you agree with me, but for Balrogs, when I saw this draft, I was expecting Clockwork to take the role of like tanking smoke ganks once he got his first item, because he doesn't really need much else, right? And I thought Shadow Demon would be more of the dead lane pusher, but we've kind of seen it inverted, right? Do you agree with that, or have you seen that in this game? Do you think Shadow Demon is kind of playing the save role a bit too much, where he could be pushing out lanes to the poison?
Yeah,
Even
ever since the 2 smoke ganks that failed, I agree. The clock was stopped there when that weird fight with the Void happened, and the SD was just chasing the Terrorblade. They probably valued the safety of the Terrorblade more than the ability to push the dead lane, and that ends up, with Queen Tekka having to push that, unfortunately.
Do you think that's correct then overall? Would you, or do you think they should have deviated the roles from the 2 of them?
I mean, I think it is correct because the Clockwork cannot save the Terrorblade. Even the SD is not an actual save, but he could buy enough time so that during the chrono, the Kiss is not enough damage to get the kill on him.
Right.
The best they have.
And on that question, is that because the guys at Thunder Awaken have so much mobility that clock tanking, say, a gank is not enough because Storm can just go through him? And so with Void and Tiny and stuff, is that why you say that? Because usually, like Ogre, for example, and Ogre like standing between the carry and the enemy is already enough, right?
Yes, but not only do you have a lot of mobility, I feel like the way they're farming... Oh, wait a second. Dark Mago.
Yeah, Dark Mago wants this kill, and he's probably going to leave afterwards. Just TP Dark Mago. Just TP. Oh, he's baiting? Oh, Dark Mago?
Meta use, though.
He is kind of baiting. He actually uses the Invis rune. He gets tossed back because I want to use the TP there with a BKB. And instead... They're just actually wasting so much time for Balrogs there because like Mao didn't want to TP. Huh? Quite clever.
Oh man, that's such a... Oh, yeah, this is all their tier 2 gone, I think. I don't feel like Balrogs, they were already in a pretty bad position to defend. Once you know this was used, I think it's very easy for Thunder Awaken to just get both tier 2s. They have no means of fighting.
Yeah, without meta. I mean, I think even with meta, it's difficult for them to fight, as you pointed out earlier, right? But without it, GG. Especially with Pakaz going for the Mjolnir build, there's no way he lacks damage in the Chrono now. Yeah. He also has the level 20 to 120 to XP during Chronosphere. Very good talent for bursting people during Chrono.
Not the most picked up talent, but in this game, I think it's spot on. You really just whoever Chrono, you want to make sure you kill it. No Sunder, no Boat. All of that is really advantageous for Thunder Awaken.
Actually, the reason why I think, as they kill SD, the reason why I think that talent is not picked up as much, and you like the time lock talent more, is because when you play the stats void, the S and Y like tanky void that time locks all the time, that time lock talent is much better, right? Because you don't play around Chrono as much.
Yeah, it's better for farming as well. It's just
true. Okay.
Like the uptime is very little if you think about it. Like if you see how much damage is gonna give you in a game. Oh, nice. Oops. Oh no,
that was
he's dead.
Every time, by the way, a Clockwork has nothing to do with the analysis. But every time a Clockwork hookshot's a creep, I hear the Shinjeki no Kyojin music in my mind.
Oh yeah.
He flies to the air. It's amazing. Anyway.
Yeah, 5 people probably got that reference, but I'm happy for all of those 5 people.
I mean, it's the most popular anime out there. Are you kidding me? I'm sure everyone's watched it.
You're right. I'll say 45 people there.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, what was your point of the time lock talent you were finishing? We talked about it being better for
So I
farming.
mean, if you just look at how much damage the time lock talent, the one that is not based on chrono will give you, like you
Right.
definitely get
Yeah.
more damage, right, on creeps and heroes. But
Okay.
sometimes it's not about the overall damage that you do. Like you can play Zeus, do 100k damage, still lose the game. It's about bursting people, killing
True.
people. And in this game, it's definitely the latter.
Oh, have you done the calculation? So there's a lot more sustained damage in the time lock than in the chrono attack speed.
Yeah, for sure, because it's working all the time. Like the moment you get it, it's gonna be working on, and it can proc itself, right? So it's just a lot of possible extra damage that you get.
That is true. When it procs itself, it does become kind of ridiculous. And of course, the bonus damage to time lock right now is pretty bad. It's only 30 damage. That got reduced a lot during the patches. But with the 70, it becomes 100 damage per proc. So when you get double procs, it's all of a sudden 200 extra damage in attack, which is a Enchanted Quiver, essentially. So that's pretty huge.
And even
we
for
get the
farming
beginning
speed,
charm.
right? The Midas on Void. Oh, DP, hello.
DP, hello. Void says hello too. Void is BKB. Void doesn't activate BKB. Void's gonna die. No, he activates BKB finally. And there's the Chrono. TV's the target. They have to kill him, but Disruption stops this from happening. Instead, he has to concentrate on Roboceta. Roboceta is not going to die. They're all too tanky. And Demonic Purge, plus that wave, brings back the Void to his grave. As Balrogs now on the lookout for more kills. Perhaps the support would do nicely a last little dessert here, but they're going to have to settle for the tower instead.
It's really good. They fought
It's
into
really
the
good.
ages. Amazingly done by Sexy Yogi there, because they actually had a lot of vision in that area. It allowed him to be Glimmer Cape that just showed up to save the TD.
And
TD
as this ends, Terrorblade
Yeah.
has been bursted by the storm. Free storm game, you're not gonna get tired of saying that. He has a double damage on top of that. That Mago is God. He takes down 2 and he wants a 3rd. It's gonna be King Deca. As Balrogs only gets 2 supports surviving this engagement. Who cares?
Never
Most of the supports are dead.
mind. It was a throw all along. Hey,
Look, I get it though. You have meta on, you just activate for the team fight, you just beat the Void. I understand that you would probably go for the towers. I don't think that's a bad play necessarily.
it's just a
From their
little bit
position.
low HP. Unfortunately, they don't have any
Yes.
heals, no vessel or anything. So maybe I think the play there was actually just using Axe for the Terrorblade, right? I think if you Axe the TB before going high ground and his full HP, I don't think they actually killed him without the Chrono, especially because he has Thunder. Maybe a slight. I mean, obviously you want to maximize the Metamorphosis duration as much as possible, but would have been the play.
Right. Like, considering the option... Yeah, I think they just forgot for a second there that, again, Storm can't be stopped, right?
Just a detail. Free Storm game.
Yeah, but you're right, though. Like, I think they're like, okay, we killed the carry, we're good. Because that's what usually would happen. And then the
Yeah.
Storm jumps in, you go, yes, no stuns. My favorite draft. Which, by the way, talking about innovation, Beast Coast was the innovator at drafting no stuns lineups. They would lose, but like people started copying them. And Kuroki was like, this is the genius lineup. Let's do this for Nigma during the DPC as well.
Yeah, it worked out.
No, it didn't, but you know, it became a staple, so you know.
Yeah, I do feel like, you know, with neutral items and no, I'm not gonna defend those stun lineups. So just get out of here. I feel like one thing the Balrogs have going for them right now is that they will have BKB for. I mean, they already have BKB on Terrorblade for this Roche. So even though they are behind, I still rate their draft a little bit better as late as this game goes on. They just need to win the Roche fight and, you know, not only deny the Aegis, which also means the Storm will feel a little bit less safe, but it gives them time to keep delaying this game, maybe get a couple of tier 2 towers. I don't feel like Thunder Awaken is playing like Crispus Dota possible, so there's definitely still a lot of room. Okay, they're smoking before Roche is up. I don't like this, but they have a ward.
They do have a ward, okay? Both teams swap positions, except now you just gave Balrogs a free high ground.
He had a ward.
Of course, the right hero to D-ward was certainly the one with the lowest attack speed, so Matthew took forever, and now they can finally initiate. As the Sexy Yogi they go on. Sexy Yogi does die. Do we have a Chrono available? We do, but BKB got wasted. Means Void might need to time lock himself to safety. Has the shard for the extra cast range there. They leave the Snapfire behind. Tidal Wave will ensure that Snapfire does fall. 1-for-1 is a trade, but offlane for support, certainly not equal. However, meta got wasted, or it got used rather, because they did kill the Snapfire. which means all that Thunder Awaken needs to do now is retreat and wait until meta is done.
Yeah,
But do
like,
they have the patience? This is SA after all.
if Roach was up and they knew they could join the pit as soon as they got a pick-off, I would be all down for the smoke.
Oh.
But, oh my lord, he forces the BKB.
Oh, wow. He forces both. He doesn't have his own. Manta style to avoid the X. Well done. Tidal Wave will bring back Matthew. We still have a Chrono. There's the Vortex. 5-man Chrono's possible. And Void gets it. Stuck in the cogs. Who cares? Everyone is stuck in the cogs. And they tip Dark Mago for a beautiful Vortex that sets up for the final team fight. Balrogs, what are you gonna do? Your whole team is dead. Roche just came up. I think this might just be GG.
I'm gonna say it. This was the prettiest play out of all SA DPC. That was beautiful.
The ugliest
Manta
game as
dodge.
well.
You have second like Twitch clip. That's going to the front page of Reddit for sure. That's beautiful.
I agree. That was awesome. What a great play. I do love it as well. This is the game to do it. Like, I think Thunder Awaken, they're just looking for better sponsors, and they wanted to show what bad Dota looks like, and then immediately follow this up by good Dota, right?
Exactly.
It's the cheerleader effect. In comparison, this Dota looked amazing, right?
Really good Dota, indeed. Yeah, and I agree. I feel like coming back, once they get the second ages here, it is really, really hard to come back from. Even, like, look at the levels on Matthew. He's one level behind it terribly. He has a shard. He has an AC on a support. Was this ever done? Like, in the history of support for Tiny? I'm not sure.
No, I've never seen this. Matthew is the king of weird builds. He has been playing Ember 4 in his pubs recently, so you know.
Yeah, he's definitely
if there's
on
someone that I expect him to do this, right? Is he actually going Moonshot as well? On top of the AC? No way, dude.
He just wants to be featured in, you know, Dota what the fuck or something like that.
He is going for BKB now. Okay, he's decided to go for a more normal, proper build.
Captain. I will not go Moonshard on an official game on Tiny 4.
You know the best part is he's the captain. Nobody gets to scream on Matthew. Matthew does whatever he wants, dude. He is king.
Maybe the other
That's
voice
why
in
he's
his
the
head
lowest.
was talking to him.
That's why he's the lowest MAR SA player, Bowie, and he still gets to play.
Okay. Lucky.
Yeah, look at this. He's trying to finish off Yogi. Oh no, Matthew. When these plays happen to him, he loses a lot of hair. He can't afford that. Matthew's been distracted. And they feared the Void as well. They don't have Chrono for another 5 seconds. Now it's ready. I don't know if you want to go back in, guys. Chrono's available, but he went in a second too early. Bakaz now gets the Chrono. Much less flashier than last time, but he does get the Kunkka regardless inside of it. Oh, maybe not. He spoke too soon. Rawatita activates the BKB, will save himself from residual damage of the kisses. And now Sacred will be the sacrifice of this fight. Cogs don't hit him, but they don't need the Cogs. They have Exo, they have Berna, and they have a dead Snapfire most of all. As Pakaz does snipe a single hero on the backlines. What are you doing, Pakaz? What are you doing, Pakaz? He still has the Aegis, but no support. Here comes Matthew, who was distracted by the Shadow Demon earlier. And Matthew is the perfect Sunder target as he comes back with full HP. But wait,
there's
Bowie,
no BKB.
There's more.
Void is dead.
A Storm is waiting in the sidelines. He's coming back in. Has the Vortex. The damage is really high. DP might fall first. Tidal Wave distracts them, but it's not going to be enough. Dark Mago guarantees the kill once again onto the 3 cores, and he's the saving grace the Thunder Awaken needs.
I cannot believe I said Void is dead. That was a full mana Storm. Just waiting. Yeah, dude, this game has been
Free Storm game, by the way.
Yep, it is a free Storm game. They're gonna have to buy back the Kunkka here, and yeah, this is usually what happens when a team has no push, right? You get these 30k goal leads, and the game just doesn't end because you cannot really hit buildings. But they'll try with this Bloodlust. Oh, let's dive Fountain, yes.
Yeah, why not? In fact, let's find a support and kill him near the fountain as Robotita watches while his BKB gets wasted. It's time for them to now take the remaining sets of racks. They do have buyback here on Balrogs, on everyone, except for the supports. But they don't want to commit it. There's no Chrono though on Pakaz, so it's probably wiser to retreat.
Oof, rough one. Really rough one. They're trying to get this halberd on Kunkka. Well, like Kunkka was, Robozy was having such a good early game. I feel like he got this BKB at 13 minutes, and he never got anything else. Like, he has a Sanj after 20. Such a rough game for him. I mean, it does come down to the fact that Balrogs were in a really good position, and they never, like, they just wasted those 2 smokes. I feel like that kind of destroyed their momentum, their confidence this game. It feels like they never really recovered at all mentally from that.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it does feel like these team fights seem impossible for them, though. I don't think that they're like misplaying them that much. It's just you're playing against. You have to consider Electric Vortex Ags from Storm. You have to consider Matthew being a secondary carry. You have to consider the Void Chrono. Like, there's so many things. Now there's 2 Chronos, by the way. Unless he has Refresher now. I don't know, man. I just think this game is kind of difficult. He might, honestly, you could just use Chrono on Sexy Yogi. He bought back earlier. Because, as you guys know, if you're actually time walking or moving away, as Tidal Wave hits you, Tidal Wave will move you in a different direction. That's a bug that was not fixed by Spring Cleaning.
It's a feature. If it was not fixed,
It's a feature now. It's true. It's a feature now. This is the TP. King Tekka decides, my best play now is to try to jump the back lines and keep them entertained. He's doing it. He's fearing the storm. He's keeping them entertained. The rest of the team is trying to fight this. Meta has been used. Pakaz has been slowed, but Queen Tekka is already dead. And they've accomplished nothing in this team fight for now, except losing their offlaner. As Pakaz gets the right angle for the Chrono. TB is not in it, but so is the Shadow Demon. And he has a second Chrono. Do not worry. TB is now in the second Chrono. The Yule Scepter at least gives him a couple more seconds, but it's not going to be enough. No time for the Sunder. The GG gets called. Balrogs will lose game number 2. Thunder Awaken with some beautiful team fights. Managed to take the series.
Yeah, I mean, nicely played by Thunder Awaken. I think even after this 2-0, like, Thunder Awaken, they beat everyone 2-0. So I didn't expect Balrogs to last as much as they did and play as well as they did. So that's a plus for them. But it kind of also made me think that Thunder Awaken isn't as good as I previously thought. They messed around quite a bit. I mean, I'm going to be honest. They're not playing as cleanly. And sure, SA has that where if they're playing against opponents where they maybe don't respect as much, they will clown a bit. And, you know, Beast Coast they are the kings of doing that. But, you know, I was very confident that Thunder Awaken was going to beat Beast Coast. I'm not sure I think like that anymore. I feel like it's going to be closer than I previously anticipated. I really felt like Thunder Awaken was by far better than Beast Coast, and it might be much closer.
Okay. You know what? I kind of have to agree with you. Also, my concern with Thunder Awaken was that I talked to them in the beginning of the season, on stream, by the way. It was an interview, not like privately. And they were all telling us how they were trying to use the season to prepare because their previous international result has not been so great, right? And I think that when you have these clowny games, sometimes you get worried. Like, are you going to play less internationally? I think in the case of Beast Coast, they've proven themselves enough that getting back to that level has never been an issue for them. Mm-hmm. I know that in TI, everyone remembers the Beast Coast losing to Alliance, and most people who will watch Dota are just score checkers. You guys are disgusting, to be honest. But those that come to the Twitch stream, you guys know that it's more to the score. And if you watch Beast Coast in group stages, you know that they can just turn it on for some reason. Some games, they lack consistency, but they just turn it on. Whereas Thunder Awaken never quite showed that to us, right? And it does worry me a little bit when you don't see that consistency being built up during the league as the major gets near.
I mean, even in the finals, stuff. Right? Everyone was saying that Thunder Awaken or Beast Coast was going to take it, and then they end up third. So that was a huge blow for them.
Hope true, and with, like, again, the scores don't really reflect it. It's like it was sloppier games than we're used to for Thunder Awaken. They got beat by Infamous in an incredibly sloppy game, and arguing that it was anything but their mistakes would be wrong there. So, we'll see what our panel has to say about this game and this series, though. Thunder Awaken, despite this concern by Bowie, does take the series, and they managed to 2-0 Balrogs. So let's see what Winter and Lelis have to talk about in this series. All right, guys. Hello. Lelis, Winter. What do you guys think about that game 2? First of all, the hardest question is, did Thunder Awaken play a better game 2 or a better game 1 overall?
I would say game 2 was better for them, for sure.
Okay.
I think they actually like made the plays, and They usually lose early game. I feel like most games they're like slightly losing, and then they have like some mid fight where they come back. It's every game they play is the same thing. So this game they had the fight where Pakaz goes mid. He starts the fight with Chrono, and then they win the fight. Right? They wipe. They lose the mid tower, but they kill everybody except TB. And then from there their comeback starts. Right. But I would say they played better in the second game.
Do you feel like this style that you talk about is something that like for example, TI5EG had that too, right? They would lose the lanes, but they would come back mid-game because they all has good net worth, etc., right? But that was a plan that they had for it. It wasn't like, oh, we just lost lanes because we're bad at lanes. Do you think Thunder Awaken have a more overarching plan, or they really do need to improve their laning stage, and they're just getting away with it?
I mean, I think their safe lane was pretty hard. I think this DP Void matchup is really bad for Void, especially if Void has like no sustain in lane. It's pretty hard for him. I would say they kind of won their off lane, but the thing is, like, when you lose your safe lane and you kind of lose a tower, and the mid can rotate to the off lane can rotate to the mid lane, the map gets kind of hard to play. So, and like some clowny stuff happened mid, right? The clock gank, the storm. So, I wouldn't say they need to improve on lanes. I don't think that's exactly what happened, because they don't really draft for lanes, right? I think they draft for what's better in the game usually.
And it works out for them because they have good macro understanding, I presume, and good team fights then.
Yeah, I think they're individually really good at team fighting. Like, I think Pakaz is really good, and Dark Maga also. Like, he hits all his spells. Really good spellcaster. So is everybody on the team, right? And they understand like their roles in the team fights and stuff. So they usually, it looks clean, especially that fight top where they were chasing Void. Like, he manta dodges an X, and then this guy gets some 5-man vortex, right? It's really good spellcasting.
Winter, I want to ask you, because I know you're a fan of Beast Coast yourself, but you always talked about how their draft was the only thing that sometimes pulled them down. Currently, would you put Thunder Awaken at their level in terms of like the macro game and the team fights, or you still would say Beast Coast superior from what you've seen?
I think in game one, if Beast Coast they were playing that lineup, they would definitely be able to use the map much better. So in that regard, I feel like they're not at that level yet in terms of using the map, because the way you play is like when you're winning the game and you're chased, because the first game they were chasing around the Medusa with the Monkey King lineup, but they were I felt like there were moments where there were creep waves. Somebody has to push the wave out, and the rest should be only chasing. And they were like, too many people were chasing the Dusa, and the lanes were constantly pushed out. That's why you see in the game they were like ahead by like 15 kills, but the net worth doesn't really translate that much because they were not getting the waves pushed out as quickly. So I would say overall, I mean, I think that the team fights they were doing very good. Who's supposed to do what? Who's supposed to stand where? I think in the second game you could see that very clearly. I think Lelis mentioned the first fight where the Void he went to the mid lane to defend the tower. I think that was a very crucial part of the game, like getting those 2 kills. But at the same time, it was also kind of the opponent's mistake, because the SD and the Kunkka, they were both standing together. I feel like when you're playing against Chrono and you're both the save, you should never be both in the Chrono. There's no excuse, If one of them is in the Chrono, okay, I can still let it pass, But if the SD and the Kunkka, they're both in the Chrono, something is wrong, And that was not the only. That was not the only fight. The SD and the Kunkka, they were in the Chrono. There were a couple of fights later as well. They were standing together. They were so near the TB, and I felt like, even though the Kunkka has some items, but he should just be standing behind, not trying to go. He was trying to right click the enemy, and he was standing next to the TB, and he got hit in the Chrono. But his job in the fights was literally just let the TB get Chrono and cast your bolt in the Chrono. That's it. He doesn't have to do anything else.
What did you think of his positioning as well? Because they were using the DP to be the tanker initiator, and she would die really quickly, and then Kunkka would be actually standing back, as you said, with a TP all the time. Do you think that was the correct play by them, or do you think the Kunkka should have been the one frontlining a bit more?
Kunkka should not be frontline. He should be behind. He just needs to cast the bolt on whoever they are chronoing, either the DP or the Terror. Same with the Shadow Demon. They both just need to be one on the left, one on the right, and behind the trees, and just hide and just pray that they are not in the chrono. That's it. But they were always in the chrono. Somehow they were always in the chrono.
Yeah. All right, we saw that. The panel nears its end, we're trying to get an interview set up, but unfortunately, we're waiting for an answer from Thunder Awaken. That's why I'm looking down, guys. Is my phone. Actually, who? Sorry. Of course. So let's actually the interview is here. Thank you, producer. So we're gonna go over with Panda, who is always the interviewee for Thunder Awaken. He gets very excited for these things. So as we said that already. Yeah, let us. I'd like to ask you here for Balrogs. What were some of the good things that you saw about them though? Because there's a lot of criticism here, and Thunder Awaken obviously outclassed them a little bit. But were there any like good plays you saw about them? Maybe the pressure they can put on the map, their laning, maybe.
Well, I thought the first game they came back, right? I thought that was
Yeah.
pretty good. They didn't really just crumble, even though they were losing pretty hard to the lanes. And I thought the game 2 they also had pretty good lanes. They were winning the game. Maybe just a little bit, some slight positioning during like this mid fight makes a really big difference. But I think they have a good idea about the game.
Okay, all right. As with that final statement about Balrogs, let's hear what Thunder Awaken have to say as we have Panda on the line once again. Sometimes I think Panda enjoys the interviews more than he enjoys the actual games. He takes them way too calmly. Regret. They say make the pro player feel comfortable, and I think Panda has really taken that in stride. What are your thoughts on a team like that, though? Is that a good mentality, Winter? Do you think a team that jokes around like that is happy to get these interviews? That's a good sign for them?
Yeah, of course. Have you tried living in the same house with 6 dudes? God, that's awful, you know. So stressful. Sometimes you see the same person every day of the week. You wake up and then somebody shat in the toilet and didn't flush, you know, and you get stressed out. And it's always the same guy.
What? What? Okay, I'm gonna move past that. That's not normal, dude. 6 dudes don't do that. That's just the one guy that's screwed up. Do you agree with that, Lennis? Is it sometimes stressful to live in the same house with people?
I mean, for sure. Like, there's all like these small little things that you can get annoyed by, right? Maybe you had a frustrating loss, and then you just have to look at each other for the rest of the day. Like,
Right.
You're just angry at someone, which it happens, you know, it's normal. But then
Right.
you're just living together, so there's nowhere to run to, you know.
Does it create a special bond between you though, because you're there through thick and thin?
For sure. It is something very special. Sometimes it could be very bad, but sometimes it can be really good.
Okay.
Hit or miss.
All right. Well, with those final statements, it seems like Thunder Awaken is currently a hit. I'm sure nobody is doing what Winter's teammates did to them. I think the toilet's very clean all the time, and that's going to be the only game for today. We do come back tomorrow, guys. A little bit earlier. We're going to come back 3 hours earlier, which is going to be 3 p.m. SGT, which is currently 9 p.m. Western European time. If you're in Portugal, that is 8 p.m. If you're in Russia, that is 10 p.m. And if you're in the United States, particularly the West Coast, which is the only one I have memorized by heart, that is going to be 2 p.m. for you guys. So any other times, honestly, just find a time converter, or the best thing you can do, follow the channel. Don't make me do this math every day. Just make sure everyone that's watching follow the channel. You get notified when we go online, and we only go online for the SA DPC. Tomorrow we have a particularly interesting match. It's the second matchup of the day, which is going to be Beast Coast versus Lava, so do tune in for that one, as Lava and Beast Coast were once considered the top 2 teams in SA. Lava and Beast Coast were considered the El Clásico, which now got changed to the new Thunder Awaken, but I'm sure they still have a lot to say in that wonderful encounter. For now, my name has been Epulze. I've been joined by the wonderful Alyssa and Winter, and we'll see you guys next time with some more SA Dota 2. Until then.